Welcome everyone to another amazing breaking news and bugs live stream. Let me know if they are too often. Maybe we try to go through faster today. The issue is of course bugs and peak bugs and issues and stuff happening on a daily basis faster than we can kind of breaking news live stream here. Also we do this that people keep a little bit in the loop, and I hope daily when we have time is better than at the end of the week when everything is accumulated and very long. So Edward Snowden here chiming in, and without encryption we will lose all privacy. This is our new battleground. Certainly our recurring theme here that is also not really news, but anyway, certainly anything mentioning ads there, something worth noting also. So it's not only China, it's for sure, it's also US, UK, Australia, Germany, France, also for the terrorists, even in Germany, the irritated politicians. There's some shooting even in Germany, unfortunately, and then the old-fashioned grey heads there, nothing better to do than let's investigate the gamer scene. Like seriously, maybe we investigate the right-wing nationalists, but yeah. Anyway, so yeah, it's certainly a recurring theme here, something, especially when Edward Snowden says this. And worth noting also, planting a tiny spy chip in hardware can cost as little as $200. We had this in breaking news some months ago when there was this huge story that may allegedly not have been totally accurate, when I think Bloomberg or someone mentioned there that people found it even in Apple's or so, Supermicro or something server boards. And here's a proof of concept apparently. So this is just yesterday or so, day before yesterday. Proof of concept shows that how easy it is to hide malicious chips inside IT equipment. So maybe they're not sure, whatever, something. And no surprise there, the initial article, although of course people close to the matter like Tim Apple or so debunked it, but probably not unthinkable, and certainly something we've also seen in the Snowden papers is even in, even in Ethernet jacks, this aluminum certainly super nice to hide there, just in the regular assembly piece of Ethernet jack stuff in the aluminum enclosure there of your Ethernet jack, RJ45. And so more than a year has passed since Bloomberg's Business Week grabbed there on those cybersecurity world with the bombshell claims of Supermicro. Exactly what we actually are we doing this new stuff already for 1 year? Crazy stuff. Time really seriously. Anyway, and feels like yesterday. And exactly what I just said, Apple and Amazon and stealthy implants, and why also maybe shipping something. So if you're in InfoSec, maybe, certainly, well, not maybe, ordering something at Amazon, not amazing. It might take a detour to NSA local implant service warehouse. So if you are into this kind of things, going to your local IT store and buying there something minimizes the chance of, well, unless something is backdoored like all of those, then buying something locally can actually minimize your attack surface and then certainly investigate it and stuff. And so they have here a fingernail in the firewall, apparently bottom side of a Cisco firewall board with the red oval marking, a 5mm squared chip that Elkins added. Apparently there, maybe directly on the Ethernet jack, not sure. Anyway, maybe even they mentioned FPGA. Points out that the firewall-based attack, while far less sophisticated, doesn't require custom chip at all, only his $2 one. Don't discount this attack because you think somebody needs a chip to fab it. I think he mentioned, maybe was it FPGA, or did I mix this? Anyway, here's FPGA. Why did my FPGA? There it is. Hudson's FPGA at less than 2.5mm square was only slightly larger than a 1.2mm square resistor. It replaced on a Supermicro board with a true proof of concept style. He says he didn't actually make any attempts to hide that chip, instead connecting it to the board with a mess of wires and an alligator clip. Hudson argues, however, that a real attacker with the resources to fabricate custom chips a process that would likely cost tens of thousands of dollars could have carried out a much more stealthy version of the attack, fabricating a chip that carried out the same BMC tapping function and fit into a much smaller footprint than a resistor. So yeah, just that you are aware, latest, well, even a year ago or whenever that was, this was exactly in what I was thinking. Speaking of which, comments in the audience a couple of years ago, comments in the audience wrote a security processor inside a SOT23 package. It looked like a transistor, so it looks pretty straightforward to me. Yeah, exactly what back in the day we said here already when this news broke. In similar news, we have a couple of Apple news. And first, of course, as clickbaited you here in the title, Live with Louis Rossmann. So just some minutes ago, he published a video, and this actually made me considering breaking this breaking news here, because I made here 2 Apple live streams today with all the failing pile of garbage that is all this Apple ecosystem, and this is unbelievable. Go watch certainly after this live stream, so wait a second for this live stream, then you can go continue watching Louis Rossmann there.
Hey everybody, so a lot of you have been reaching out to me and also posting on the Apple community support forums about issues. Since first is that a very similar thing that was happening to Jessa Jones in the Apple community.
Yeah, also they post there, Louis and Jessa Jones and stuff, and like, hey, we do data recovery, because Apple always says no, data recovery is impossible, yada yada, and then they post there something, yes, of course it's possible. There are companies who do this, often even without too much of their own shameless plug marketing, and they get banned so much on. You post something on the Apple support communities and you get banned, not fun stuff. And audience has already seen the video.
Community support forums found a cool person. She will have her post deleted and censored and edited when he was explaining.
So this is newsworthy in our channel, because certainly in our Apple stuff here, App Store, also our app. So I also, fun fact here live on this channel, I sent a video link, previous video. Apple wanted a video about our app to review it. It's hilarious. I responded last night at midnight. That was a good 18 hours ago. Of course, in 18 hours, Apple did not yet look into that, so it's still pending, waiting for review. And of course, I mentioned it before, our amazing applications, ExactScan and OCR-Kit and Recompress and stuff, already 64-bit for a decade. And then you see here, if this is true, I've not reviewed this because I certainly don't have a Mac with T2 security chip. So what is new here, apparently, allegedly to this news there of Louis Rossmann and the support forums, that the amazing forced on the users automatically installed Catalina update is apparently breaking some Mac Minis and MacBook Airs or so, or something, Macs apparently. And according to this video of Louis here, this is apparently due to 32-bit software. So what they are saying, again, I don't buy this piece of garbage with T2 security chip, where they even have stolen the name of our amazing one-man unsuccessful Linux distribution, is that it's apparently including a 32-bit application to manage their some certificates or something. And even in the support from there, you see the amazing support at Apple. That's a premium support. They tell you, yeah, sorry, it's bricked, you need to replace your logic board. And then people find out, yeah, of course, it's not permanently bricked, just run there some software or something.
How to besides the Apple support community forum, device stays broken so that you buy them for entitlement management on the machine.
So yeah, there are apparently some 32-bit, what is this even? Yeah, so some IM transcoder something agent. Maybe I should look on my Mac actually if this really is 32-bit. Failure to return kernel address space. So if this is true, this is of course, so again, this is hearsay, they say probably, but if internet celebrities with 1 million subscribers, I hope that is true. And if this really is true, this is of course an even more crazy scandal, in that Apple is removing 32-bit support, and yet they might even have there still some IM transcoder XPC service, something for IM transcoder agent. Seriously, this memory space almost allotment issue with an entitlement database aspect of the OS. And yeah, if this is true, then I rest my case, 2019 and vendors of their premium hardware, of their matching hardware with matching software, everything is amazing, fitting together, and apparently not like seriously, if again, I don't, just idiots working there, in their opinion, comment in the audience, wasn't great back then when Steve Jobs used to SLT people, they are producing utter garbage and to try again, yeah, something of that sort. And this is also why I want to chime in here and spread some awareness, and also people realize that Microsoft and certainly not Apple are not amazing companies that only like Google do only good and no evil, or whatever their mantra was.
And Catalina doesn't seem to play nice with 32-bit software. Entitlement management, my friend.
Yeah, doesn't play nice, as in has support fully removed. I have actually not checked. If you have a static binary, I didn't check this, if the kernel would still be able to execute 32 processes, I have no idea. But I checked quite some libraries and command line stuff, and everything that I like randomly. I poked a few applications and stuff a week ago randomly, and all of them were only 64 bits. So I would not be surprised if the kernel has 32-bit, although maybe the kernel still has some 32-bit support left over, and if you have a statically linked binary executable, it would work. I have no idea, but maybe not.
Saying that on the screen here, just a little description.
So yeah, having trouble deleting stop applications from your just run this command, Catalina crashed, enter default unmounted system folder in order to delete files you want. Crash boot based install. If you have crashes on boot with system-based applications installed with 32-bit helpers. So yeah, whatever. It's hilarious. Anyway, you probably want to watch this full video. If you watch this here in full, then, although it's not too long though.
Pretend that I came up with stuff. Forums, that is a place.
Yeah, also Apple recommended the same with the Apple review geniuses that we have to deal here on a random basis. Not unless you have money to burn, they can't recover your photos. No one can recover, like, unless seen live on Louis Rossmann's, Jessa Jones and other, even on this unsuccessful channel, aka like my father's phone the other day. Anyway, so yeah, there you have it. Apple recommended by Apple random bullshit. In similar news, we have a couple of more news, but we will quickly go over this. macOS 10.11, so amazing, your mail loses data. Here's some developer working on Catalina release and wanted to start with a warning that the mail app apparently can lose data. Ironically, one of the bugs that he encountered, inability to delete messages via Apple script. Yeah, so also peak bugs, right? Even deleting messages with Apple script doesn't work. And so ironically, he has here some news. So long story short, if you use Apple Mail, you probably won't read it. So yeah, 2019, the mail applications is still not bug free. And ironically, there is someone commenting that they say they lost messages from updating Mail's data store. Happens for local mailboxes every time mail database is rebuilt, not just when migrating from Mojave. So maybe this is not even a migration bug, but peak bugs just the theme here. Even on normal use, then apparently it always lost already mails. Maybe I actually personally don't see this because I don't have local mail storage and use IMAP, as all professions probably do anyway. In similar news, stuff broken even on iPhone 11 keeps disconnecting Bluetooth devices. So according to Apple's own support forum here, allegedly even Bluetooth broke more than usual release. And also, if you were wondering, you upgrade stuff Catalina and then you have a new relocated items of random crap. So if you update Mac and somehow it needs to move files around for whatever reason, I don't know, you would think it leaves user data alone, but apparently it's creating some relocated items folder with all the garbage in it that the update stuff couldn't make sense out of. So yeah, even 2019 knowledge articles that can I just delete it, worth reiterating. Folder you see on the desktop is a shortcut that can be safely deleted. Yeah, also 2019 you need to tell the people that something with an arrow is a shortcut. So yeah, whatever. And in similar news, so are we the only one noticing that? No, just seen this over OS news, someone's blog here of, I don't know, Jussie or someone. I found this interesting because gathering of development thoughts and 2019, so he says Apple in 2019 is the Linux of 2000. I found this a relatively interesting headline that people already, you would think 2019 Apple is the greatest, the most usable, the most user-friendly, the most stable, but people compare, so not me, other people, random people on what you find on the internet, compare Apple in 2019 with Linux of 2000, which is of course hilarious, right? When you think 2000 Linux was just as its infancy and things maybe not the most amazing and certainly not user-friendly. And last week the laptop he used for development said that there's an Xcode update available, try to install it, said not enough disk space. Yeah, also I had this also right, the Xcode download is 8 GB and then you need 12 or 16 GB free. Then they deleted some unused VM images, free some few dozens of gigabytes, should make things work. Even emptied the trash. At this point, didn't get some serious and so on, and tons of Googling. Chat buried some very deep on Reddit, which tried magically indenting the purges reserved space. Consists running tmutil from the command line and yada yada. So he compared the external monitors, Linux 2000, plugging an external monitor will most likely not work. Fanboys are very vocal that it's the fault of the monitor manufacturer. Apple 2019 plugging an external projector will most likely not work. Fanboys are very vocal that this is the fault of the projector's manufacturer for not ensuring the hardware works with every Apple model. Software installation to Linux 2000, the only true way of installing software is using distro packages. If you do anything else, you are bad and you should feel bad. Apple 2019, there's only one true way to installing software, using the Apple Store. Yes, exactly our recurring theme here. If you do anything else, you are bad and you should feel bad. Hardware compatibility, Linux, only limited number of hardware works out of the box, even for popular devices like 3D graphic cards. Things either don't work at all or have reduced functionality of kinda work but fail suspiciously every now and then. Apple 2019, only limited number of hardware works out of the box, even for more popular devices like Android phones. Things either don't work at all or have reduced functionality or kind of work, but and so on. Technical support, Linux 2000, if you have a problem, it not Google trivial. There's nothing you can do. Asking friends for assistance does not help because they will just type your problem description into Google and read the first hit. Apple 2019, if you have a problem, it is not Google trivial. There is nothing you can do. Calling Apple Tech Suggest support line does not help because they will just try you type your problem description into Google and read your first hit. And actually, I was not thinking about this, but this makes totally sense. Not only the App Store, right? App Store is like, although probably most people here in the audience anyway probably find distributions packages amazing, but actually the App Store is not too different, except it's such a closed walled garden. But also, if Apple continues with this and with more like secure boot, digital rights management stuff, will in the future prevent running any apps also, that this is the only point of accessing applications. And the technical support is, of course, if you have ever, you see our support here and some stuff I shared, and boy could I tell you of just the last 1,000 emails, the last 7 days yet, Xcode, boy could I tell you stories, which probably is a topic for another video. But this is the same with Apple, right? People expect AAA service from a small company like Xcode, like certainly what we are providing here. But if you ask Apple, hey, this app is crashing on Catalina, do you think like, yo, sure, just do X, Y, and Z and it will work? And this, of course, they can do nothing anyway because Apple broke it. And it's not like you call Apple and say, yo, this app is crashing, what can I do? It's not like some developer at Apple is immediately jumping and fixing your UI threading issue and finally making it multi-thread safe. And the technical support, yeah, certainly, actually, I would actually argue that technical support on Linux is superior because there you can actually take a look. And one argument, certainly with all the Apple and Microsoft, but maybe more Apple, is the more they close the stuff, they lock it down, they make it read-only, they make it system integrity protection mode. and you can look less and less. You can look into the inner workings less, and more and more it is more encrypted and more digitally signed and more hidden and more obscure. Like just run it with Xcode and have it digitally signed, and it needs to be processed this way and stapled that way and notarized that way. And when something breaks, then yeah, good luck finding this. And I would actually argue that support on Linux is better today because their stuff is actually not random, well, not as randomly breaking, and people can take a look and actually have some clue of what they are doing. And if there's something broken, people usually at least somewhat tend to fix it. And laptops here, they list Linux 2000. It is very difficult to find a laptop with more than 2 USB ports. Apple 2019, it's very difficult to find a laptop with more than 2 USB ports. Not entirely true, but somewhat ironic, at least in the sense that, yeah, Apple laptop certainly you could add there. You can't find a good Linux laptop with a working keyboard or something. It's certainly something of that sort. Advocated behavior, Linux 2000 fanboys will let you know in no uncertain terms that their system is the best and will take over all desktop computers' usage. Said fanboys are conceding elitist computer nerds. Apple 2019 fanboys will tell you, and so on. You got the idea. Said fanboys are conceding elitist hipsters. Latter website developers. Yeah, probably not much more to add. I've mostly found this a little bit funny, but certainly, of course, a little bit apple and oranges, but certainly so much truth into this. It's certainly funny comedy here live on this channel. In similar news, we had this actually on some German medical app the other day on this news here, that leaking tracking information of your local medical stuff. And here's a new, no English, this is why I wanted to include this here, data sharing practices of medicines related apps and the mobile ecosystem traffic content network analysis. So I only wanted to include this here mostly that this is not a German app problem, certainly not. If you find something in the US or Germany, then certainly usually it is widespread and you find it everywhere. So if you're interested in German and English and a wider study, here 2019, abstract objective, methods and so on. So some more interesting read, and certainly this is, I would argue, it's totally unacceptable, right? Especially, I would actually argue it is always unacceptable, even in terms of Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and stuff. In a way, we create all ourselves, friends and family, neighbors, and so on, and web online society with all the ads and also everything cost to the bottom, even in the App Store, but certainly even more in the freemium and free website stuff. And then this is, in my opinion, really dangerous, that everything is data collecting. So basically people expect stuff for free and have some data tracking, data sharing to compensate this. Super dangerous business model, especially this kind of medicine related apps. Super dangerous. Leave in the comments what you leave as usual. Certainly something I would advise and encourage everyone to spread the word. And otherwise here, yeah, speaking about tracking, Facebook to pay 40 million under proposed settlement in video matrix suit. And this is a real scandal. And also hilarious that if you also Silicon Valley, is it Silicon Valley in 2019, AAA, the richest of the most valuable companies here, among others Facebook, is inflating. So what have they done? They've inflated their advertising numbers. This stuff, everyone is using this pile of garbage that is Facebook, allegedly, I heard. And then, although there are so many billion people using this Facebook crap to waste their life and do nothing but click some garbage there, and on top of this, Facebook even had to inflate this. So apparently their average viewership metrics were not inflated by only 60 to 80%. They were inflated by some 150 to 900%. Like, what the heck? This is even the right button do I have? So how can, I mean, and there you see it, the double standard of Silicon Valley, AAA, the most successful, rich, whatsoever valued companies, even they need, and so there you see free stuff as a service, paying with your with your user data and tracking and stuff and advertising, and even they need to inflate their numbers by 150 to 900% allegedly. This is hilarious. And why is this twice as hilarious and unacceptable? Is there you see the penalties, right? Why we had this in yesterday's news, Google even donating to allegedly climate change deniers, and certainly also Facebook allegedly to so many shady people there in US and other worldwide politics. And why do they do this exactly? That if they are caught with their pens down there, their hand in the tip jar, and then for inflating stuff by 150 to 900%, they only get proposed penalties so far of 40 million. Certainly they're probably finds this under the mattress there in the Zuckerberg's office, probably, I would expect. So this is hilarious, and why there needs to be more outrage. And also would encourage everyone to delete Facebook, certainly not use this stuff. And in general, rather choose quality services of small, medium-sized family businesses and not sell your soul and all your data to the shady businesses here. Last but not least, Microsoft has released a new keyboard, which, by the way, I actually could have this here. Other people have a new DIY keyboard here on this channel, previous videos with mechanical keys and track point. But Microsoft here, some probably fine membrane or whatever, but with dedicated Office key and emoji keys, like, what, seriously, it's hilarious. This is, first of all, this is total waste of key space, right? Even if you work with Office a lot, then you usually have it open once. It's not like, if you multitask between Outlook and Office, if you're on Windows or something, like seriously, what is wrong with Alt-Tab or whatever? Total waste of keyboard space, in my opinion. And emoji, like seriously, which also, I think on Mac, maybe was it on new Mac versions where you can hold the FN key or something for a special character picker. But basically you could have this with any other useful key, like scroll lock or I don't know, in my opinion. Also, I would actually not really want this for usability standpoint. If you have multiple machines, then you well, I would find this mostly useless garbage. But even if you use it sometimes, of course, you go to another machine, another laptop, you don't have this key, so then not much worse, right? But also innovation at Microsoft in 2019, all they can come up with is Office and emoji key. It's hilarious. Nearly last but not least, Chinese citizens will have to scan their faces to get internet access and a new phone number. Mostly calling this out, of course, probably most people here not living in China, but also what is developing in China usually comes to the USA, Europe, and so on. Next, social score, more surveillance, internet surveillance, and global firing by countries, even like France and Germany, in the name of against the terrorists, because whatever. And so, yeah, expect facial recognition. We had this also, I think, in previous week's live stream, where some Chinese woman had not their face recognized anymore after some plastic surgery on the nose or something. So, but also, this is, of course, I find this really dangerous when everything is tracked 100%. You can't do nothing anymore without everything being logged. There are certainly so many science fiction movies and stuff to quote there. What dangerous development that is, but leave me in the comments below what you agree. But yeah, certainly why I don't want to move to China anyway. And anyway, so yeah, probably coming soon to the Western states, because everything made in China we need to have too. In last but really least news here is this Libra loses a quarter of its members. And as booking, so we had this also in yesterday's news, so nothing really new for us, but what is crazy, so the only reason I included this here actually is that I didn't even knew that Booking is among those partners, and I hope we don't play this video, don't. And this is also strange that you see, I only want to bring it to attention if you want to get an overview of like kind of strange companies who maybe have a little bit strange business practices of how they interact with their partners and customers and stuff. You probably only need to look no further than if they partner with strange, certainly not a good idea to start with, stuff from Facebook, like digital currency from Facebook. So yeah, you can add Booking to this list of like, what the heck, why did they even want it to be partner of that? But also with all these digital currencies, I called this out in terms of Bitcoin, that it's of course a total waste of energy, right? There are all this crypto mining stuff of computing these hashes and transactions costs as much energy as some small countries like Iceland or Switzerland and stuff, or Denmark or so. And from this point of view, it certainly not much, well, probably not really worth it. Also, even if you make some independent cryptocurrency, I would argue that in the early days, like when Bitcoin was new and it was some insider thing, it might have been an inside hacking stuff. But as soon as it becomes popular, right, then of course the government will anyway regulate it or shut it down. So as soon as it becomes like really widespread and usable, then the local governments will anyway say, even in terms of Libra and certainly Bitcoin, some even governments say this is dangerous, we will not allow it. So there you see, I would not even spend too much effort in whatsoever, even Bitcoin, because you can be sure as soon as it is a threat to the established banking system, the local regulations will anyway shut it down and take control over it. So yeah, just the daily news, especially here live is Louis Rossmann on this kind of whatever that was here. And yeah, thanks for tuning in. Hope you learned something. Certainly welcome everyone in the audience. If you have any questions, now is a good minute to ask before we end this stream. Also, I'm surprised, but I closed this already. Speaking about App Store, you also lose the total contact with your developers. Maybe I actually, let's pull this tab out because we have an amazing desktop Linux, and go here back to the history of history App Store, maybe this one. Maybe I show you this if this loads exactly what I want, because so not only people obviously you have no customer data, right? You cannot even, so this App Store fail right now with Catalina that we made a couple of live streams, I can't even write the customers, hey, dear valued customer, please be aware that the latest App Store version is not in the App Store, please download this version, because we get no customer data, right? Which normally I would even argue we would not want to have, and we are not like data collecting services like Apple, like Facebook and stuff. There is even usability fail here. And do we have, so you have no customer data, you can't write them, nothing. Also, there would even be so such a UI fail here, ready for sale. Where would be the reviews each time you maze of navigation, features, activity, where would be reviews? So the issue is people write there like, hey, this bullshit doesn't work. You often don't even see immediately, or is it here? No, in the meantime, I nearly clicked everywhere, view this app, hello. And so the users, this is also the modern times, right? The users do not write our support, so they directly write the negative feedback there without contacting the support, and this is of course not helpful, right? If anything, they should write the support and ask for a version that works as like hello dear support, I have this version, doesn't work in Catalina, can you provide a solution? But instead they go to the App Store and write this pile of garbage doesn't work. Where would be promo code sec? I was there earlier. Yes, waiting for a review. I know this. Where is even this comes from, this is why I actually opened this from the history, but web navigation in 2019 doesn't even bring it on. Yeah, anyway, the point being, nowadays people just write there some comments that the software stinks and sucks, and this is also doesn't, yes, unresolved. I know that view or what. This is so hilarious. Anyway, so, and then the modern times, I don't know what people expect by writing a negative comment in the App Store that the developers do not even see instantly. And even then, what I wanted to show you, but right now I can't find it because this UI is such a nightmare, that where the heck is even... here, ratings. Here, I think I found it. I just overlaid it because it wasn't capitalized. Here it was so light gray that also here in 2019 the capital headline is like smaller and light gray. Anyway, maybe Apple even approved this. So if Apple approved this, then kudos. Oh no, wait a second. No, this is pending. Here it's saying pending. No, then Apple did not approve it yet. Okay, this is exactly what I wanted to mention. That, so first of all, yeah, here's this I can't read because whatever language, but of course 1 star, some sucks Catalina. Yeah, it doesn't work with Catalina. So thank you very much, Apple, for still not approving this. Only saw this today, so some days gone. So there you see this. You can't even answer this without Apple reviewing this, which is also hilarious, right? Imagine all this time wasted. Why do they need to take 30% and why is everything so expensive? Because not only do they review each app, they even review each bloody comment. And I can't even unfilter, so I have no contact information. I cannot even make sure this message arrives at them. And then Apple even approves all the comments that we do not write something inappropriate. And so it could be that I have no idea if, because this includes a link, it could maybe even be that they do not approve this. I have no idea. I never had this. So we made a special landing page today, like, hey, Mac App Store, here is your interim update. Yes, this software was always temperamental. Okay, thank you very much. But now that I'm on Catalina, it crashes every time I run it here. No shit, Sherlock. That comes from Apple. Not there. You see, Apple is super user-friendly and helpful and stuff, right? Not even approving. And there you see, it's for the viruses and malwares. Of course not. It's for the control, because certainly there wasn't a virus or malware in there. There still is not a virus and malware in there. This is not about virus and malware. It's about taking control, having 100% ownership, taking 30%. Do not go overstart. Cash in your 30% and make sure there will soon be no other point of software distribution. Here certainly, but so here you see, this must be some Linux user, because nobody else would normally write segmentation fault. I'm not sure if Apple calls it segmentation fault. So this is some, at least somewhat pro user, which here you have some name, but if you open the App Store, you probably see the same name in German here. And yeah, also pending. No mapping for user data, right? No mapping for user data. It doesn't even ring a bell. But yeah, thank you very much, April. This is App Store in 2019. Forked some pretty good money towards purchasing XXCam Pro. The app crashes substantially on launch. Yeah, maybe reach out to our support, not write their negative stuff. So there you have it, Apple review stuff as its best. The app is not fully... Yeah, by the way, one was really hilarious. Yeah, and there you have it. This is the result of App Store review stuff. It's for the users, right? There you see how much is an App Store for the users. This is how much it is for the users. And here, this comment is hilarious by he42. Doesn't work under Catalina. Yeah, maybe if the version number is already some months old. And yeah, dear beloved developers, your program does not work under Catalina. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. As if we did not know. Maybe reach to our support. go to our website here, and yeah, also pending. So you see, I posted this quite some hours ago, like 6 hours or something ago. It's still not reviewed, even the comments. Super helpful. And in general, do not be such a guy who writes there, well, I have nothing against, well, it's of course honest, it's crashing, but certainly not helpful. And if you want support, write the support and not reviews. But this is hilarious. It was known since 2 years. No, 2 years ago, it was High Sierra. 1 year ago, it was Mojave. It was not since 2 years known that Apple makes something new. Guess what? Apple always makes something new. But honestly, Catalina is not even that new. It's basically the same old shit. They just made the system root read-only. They removed 32-bit support. It's not. It's also, people think they made it so new. No, they just remove a bunch of stuff, added a bunch of threading assertions, and yeah. And also, what my problems that I really have with this, 2 problems. First problem: reach out to any company support. Application reviews, app reviews are not support. You see, we have no contact data. Even if we wanted, we still have no contact data. We need to rely on maybe having some comment approved. Maybe they see it eventually. They for sure do not get a notification, I guess. At least I personally never got a notification. And in any case, this is not a form of support and certainly not helping much. And second of all, do not always blame the developers. As I said in previous live streams, maybe people should also blame Apple and hold Apple accountable, because after all, Apple is what broke the stuff, right? It's not like we broke something. Apple made changes, and honestly, in 2019, right, after 30 years of software development, maybe we all, especially Apple of all companies, should know how to make quality software that doesn't break and is not incompatible. Even Windows is better than this, right? And there you see in what kind of reality distortion filters people are trapped when they blame the small and independent developers. They are so lazy. For 2 years they have done nothing. It's for 2 years. It's hilarious. And hold Apple and Microsoft more accountable. They are those who break the stuff and enforce this kind of low quality software distribution garbage to the users and developers. That's it for today. I hope you learned something, and hope to see you soon for the next videos and live streams and news to come.